Joshua Maddux was born on March 9, 1990, and lived in Woodland Park, Colorado. Woodland Park is a sleepy little town of around 8,000 people. The town is located in the Pike National Forest, Teller County, Colorado. His parents were divorced, and Josh lived with his father Mike and two sisters Kate and Ruth. Joshua had long blondish brown hair. He was 6 feet tall and weighed about 150 pounds. He had a carefree attitude to life, had a love for music, and spent much of his free time writing music and playing guitar. At school, he was a bright student and was seemingly well liked by his peers. On June 1st, 2006, a week before his high school graduation, his older brother Zachary committed suicide after suffering from severe depression. Little did anyone know, Josh would disappear almost 2 years after his brother's suicide. Joshua's father, Mike Maddux, stated, "I buried his older brother 2 years before, and it was so difficult for Josh. When his brother died, it pushed him over the edge. It was a big shock for the family, and a big shock for Josh. He thought highly of his older brother." Despite this, Josh had been doing very well and was happy in the period around 2008. But on May 8th, 2008, Joshua Maddux left his house to take a walk. He was never seen alive again. Disappearance. According to most close to Joshua and his family, the police never really took the disappearance seriously. The police believed Joshua could have gone anywhere since he was an adult, and it was his prerogative to inform his family or not where he was. They didn't suspect any foul play at the time, so the police filed a missing persons report and left it at that. Meanwhile, Joshua's family desperately searched for clues to lead them to their son. For years, Joshua's father never wanted to move out of his house. His father believed that if his son ever wanted to return home, that would be where he would come. Sadly, in 2015, his father would get answers to what happened to his son. Discovery. Josh was found 7 years after his disappearance, less than a mile from his house in a chimney inside of an old abandoned cabin. He was found mummified inside the chimney, his body completely naked, except for a thin thermal shirt on. What's so odd is that his clothes were found neatly folded inside of the cabin, right outside of the fireplace. He was found in the fetal position with his feet above his head. From the body's resting point, it looked as if Josh came headfirst down the chimney. The coroner concluded that his death was undetermined. His autopsy stated that there were no drugs found in his system, and it is believed that he suffered a slow and painful death, which could have either been dehydration or hypothermia. There was no traumatic injuries on the body of Joshua Maddux. He had no bullet wounds, no stab wounds. It was a complete mystery as to how the body of Joshua Maddux ended up inside the chimney. Accident or murder? There are many theories as to what happened to Joshua. One theory is that Josh was murdered. Murphy, the cabin owner, remains convinced that Maddux was murdered, either forced up the chimney alive, trapped there and left to die, or he was killed in the cabin and his remains forced through the damper and into the smoke chamber just above the firebox. Murphy hasn't wavered from his immediate opinion after his workers made the chilling discovery August 7th, as they used an excavator to peel open a chimney, one of two in a century-old cabin. Murphy, 80 years old, said it was impossible for anyone to slide down the chimney because a heavy steel mesh grate was installed near the top of the chimney when it was built 25 years ago. The chimney that Josh was found in was an addition to the original cabin, which was part of a casino that operated through the 1930s through the 1950s. It was a heavy wire grate, a wire mesh, installed across the chimney about one row of bricks from the top, Murphy said. "We didn't want trouble with raccoons and things getting in the chimney." Murphy is convinced the mesh remained intact and prevented anyone from sliding down the chimney. But investigators didn't see it when they responded to the call of the body because his crew had already tossed it in the truck. They were just gathering up all the steel, angle iron, and things as part of the demolition, Murphy said. They had no idea that the mesh had any significance. But there are even more disturbing questions, Murphy said, that debunked the chimney theory. The mystery deepened further when investigators found most of Maddux's clothing next to the hearth. He was mostly naked inside that chimney, Murphy said. He was only wearing a thermal shirt, no pants, no shoes, no socks. Murphy said it's ridiculous to think that a teen stripped down to just a shirt, climbed up on a roof, up on the chimney, and slid down knowing he'd be trapped. He said Maddux would have known that he'd be trapped because there was a steel heatilator inserted in the fireplace. Also, a large heavy wooden breakfast bar had been ripped from the wall and dragged from the kitchen and placed across the front of the fireplace, blocking it. It's a real conundrum, Murphy said. A tragic, terrible story. All I know is he did not go down that chimney. He got in the fireplace and went up. But why? I think it will remain a mystery, one of those sad stories. But could this have just been a tragic accident? Did Joshua decide to explore the old cabin? Somehow found a way down the chimney? Was he locked inside and tried to get out through the chimney? Or did he meet something more sinister? We may never really know. And his family and friends will always wonder what happened on May 8th, 2008, when he decided to take that long walk. Epilogue. When I started to do research on chimney deaths, I was very surprised by the number of deaths and accidents that occurs inside of chimneys. They happen more than you think. In the US, the UK, all around the world. Kids coming home late, sneaking down a chimney so they don't have to get caught by their parents, only to become stuck. Scorned lovers trying to sneak into an ex's chimney just to get back at them. Burglars and thieves getting stuck inside of a chimney, left for dead as their cries of regret are left unheard. I also spoke with a friend of mine who also happens to be a chimney technician from the southern-based company Fireplace Doctor, and he told me that many in his field refers to these accidents as the Santa Claus syndrome. We are done with the sad case of Joshua Maddux, but these tales continue. Our next episode, read by my co-host, will continue this bizarre topic with another chimney tragedy, and that is the case of Harley Dilly. Until next time, when we take you back into the fire.